What we done started. Look at what we done started. This the people party. Peace and love, party people, and a place to be. It's Talib Kweli, the BKMC. This is the world's best podcast. Shout out to my lovely and talented and always funny and thought-provoking co-host, Jasmin Leigh, and the place to be. What's up, Jasmin? How you feeling? Feeling good?
I'm feeling good. I got some kicks on like you for once.
Oh, I don't know if your kicks are like mine, but those are very interesting.
Yeah, they are very interesting. They're fun is what
I
was
like
told.
them. They laughed like I was making a joke. I like them.
Because he kind of put it like it was a joke, but I knew it was a compliment. It's okay. I mean, feature king.
Oh, this guest today is a feature king. He is so much of a feature king, he has an album that starts with him being the feature king. This guest has a lot of classics under his belt. Not just West Coast classics, because he is a classic West Coast artist, but just musical classics. He is a multi-talented singer-songwriter, record producer. He is a member of the super production crew D.R.U.G. He fuses R&B and hip-hop like no one else in the game right now. He has such a wide range of skills and talent. He is influenced by some of the greatest, from Earth, Wind & Fire to Prince. The world first got a taste of this young man on YG's smash hit Toot and Booted back in 2010. Then he signed to Wiz Khalifa's label Taylor Gang. So far, he's given us 3 studio albums, Free TC, Beach House 3, featuring Ty Dolla ign, which hit number 14 on the Billboard. There's a strong debut. He's worked with everyone from Afrojack to Megan Thee Stallion to Nicki Minaj to Skrillex, Tyler the Creator, Kanye West, Fifth Harmony, many, many more. I hope that I will make that list one day. You know him from his classic Paranoid or Nah, Blase. That's one of my personal favorites. He does so much TV, film, soundtrack work. This man's resume is long as so long. If I kept reading it, we would never get to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Ty Dolla ign and the place to be. Yes, yes, yes.
What up, King?
So colorful on the show today.
Yes, I like that Prince shirt.
I appreciate it, my brother.
Yes, you wore a Prince shirt, and you were very influenced by Prince, and you were like a Prince figure for this generation.
Oh, man. I mean, a lot coming from you. But for sure, Prince is the GOAT to me.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. You got to meet Prince, right?
Yeah, I met him at some party up in downtown. He was just like going up the stairs with a couple of ladies, and I said, what up? He looked
I
back,
might have been
said,
at that party.
Yeah.
I was partying with Prince downtown a couple of times.
Yeah.
Game.
Yes, indeed.
Louses.
Now, you also have a relationship. I want to shout out Prince, who works with Black Eyed Peas, because that's also the mutual homie.
Yeah, shout out to Prince Keys. Yeah, man. Yeah. Legend right there.
Your pops, Tyrone Griffin, work with Lakeside.
Yeah. Classic
group. Their biggest record is Fantastic Voyage. I want to say rest in peace to Coolio.
Yeah, rest in peace.
West Coast legend. He sampled Lakeside. But your pops was with Lakeside after the Fantastic Voyage era, right?
Yeah.
Is that him on Wood and Leather?
Oh, yeah, maybe. It's been so long since I heard that one, but yeah, I got him on there. He's actually on my new single that I just dropped called My Friends, featuring Lil Durk. That's Pop's playing. He's one of the horn players on the song.
Okay.
So.
He sounds like a fun guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Word up.
What sort of influence did Nate Dogg have on you? And do you feel people tell you stories about him because they see the parallel?
Most likely, I think people do see a parallel, and I've always gotten comparisons with Nate Dogg, which is, an honor. He's a legend. Mm-hmm. And to carry the torch, you know what I'm saying, is also an honor for sure. So I'm inspired by Nate Dogg for sure.
Word up. Rest in peace to Nate Dogg. Rest in peace to Coolio. When you and me first started really getting in contact, one of the first things you told me was that you were a fan of my music and I was influence on you, which made me feel wonderful. But then I read in your Wikipedia that my name is in your Wikipedia, so it makes me feel like oh, he's telling the truth.
Yeah.
He didn't just say that just cause. Yeah. He say that even when I'm not around.
No, I always say that you, Mos Def, the whole Black Star era and everything after that, high tech, like I know everything, bro.
Right up.
Real fan. So yeah, thank you for everything you did, with music, and at that time when there was all the other things that were out, but y'all stuck to what you were on and it inspired a kid like me. So
no doubt. You also in your Wikipedia you cite Dilla, Slum Village, also as influences. You remember the first time you heard Dilla?
First time I heard Dilla was the song Forth and Back. It was this dude named Julio G that had
Shout out
a show
Julio G.
on 92.3.
Yeah. Corrupt on that one, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Since I was young, dumb,
Yeah, exactly.
hard to believe.
So
yeah,
that's when I first heard it, and I started to like dig in. And then I heard Playa next from Slum Village. Then I went to the warehouse right there across the street from the Beverly Center where they used to sell CDs.
Yeah.
And I started looking in the, CD booklet, and then that made me just do even more research. And then I found out he was the Uma, and
That's right.
all the shit he did before that, like so many that you could name. But yeah, that's when I became a fan of him for sure.
Warehouse Music, is that Viola Davis used to work there, right? Yeah, I used to have to go do meetings there to try to get our records sold. That's right.
Wow.
When I used to be in the music
And you saw
business.
Viola Davis working there?
Violet Davis.
Oh.
It wasn't the Woman King.
Wait, and she's, okay. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to challenge you.
Now, you was right about that.
Thank you for that.
I know in your story you talk about spending time in Brownsville and Flatbush. That's my area of the world.
That's crazy.
Studio Randy was a dude you was working with?
Yeah, Randy. Shout out to Randy and Big Kev and all them over there. It's my guys that own the studio, and we used to just work out of there like, 04, 05, 06, 07, like that whole little area right there. Me and the homie Kory. Yeah, man, I love that area right there.
No doubt.
Yep.
No doubt. That's home for me.
All right, you can sing, rap, write hits, produce, and mix. You're a true multi-hyphenate talent. Why do you have such a wide range of interests when it comes to music?
Probably because when I was first starting off, all I really had was me. So I had to learn all the shit. And I wasn't around other producers that really showed me what they do is not do everything themselves and call this person and that person.
Right.
So it was like when I'm hearing shit like a DJ Quick beat at the time or like some Warren G shit, and you hear the bass line come in and then you go through the whole keyboard and you try to go through all the basses and you can't get the bass to sound like that. It's like, oh, that's a real bass. So I had to pick up, luckily my dad had all the instruments in the house, so I pick up the bass and I figure out, it was this one song called Endo Smoke. I learned how to play that on bass.
Mr. Grimm.
Mr. Grimm,
Yeah.
yep. Once I learned how to play that, I just kept on listening to other songs and just trying to figure it out. And then by the time I was like 17, 18, I started playing for a church. I got good enough.
That's the record that got Warren G his deal, he said.
Oh, wow.
He said on this show, he said he had played this. He was trying to get Mr. Grimm a deal. And they was like, well, who's the other dude rapping on that record?
Wow.
He was like, that's me.
But like to speak back on what you just said, that's kind of like how it happened for me and YG. We made Tooted and Booted.
That's my song. That was like my freaking
Thank
theme
you.
song for college.
I tried to get a deal off the song, and then they ended up giving YG a deal.
Yeah, Tooted and Booted. It came out, what, 2013-ish?
2010, yeah.
2010. Okay, because I was still in college.
09, really, we started pushing it, but 2010, that's
Yeah,
when
that
Def Jam
Tooted and
stepped
Booted.
in.
That was the theme song of the time. Not that I was tooting it or booting it. But anywho, can you take us behind? I am a virgin, guys. Can you take us behind the success of Tooted and Booted and what it was like working with YG and Pusha?
Pusha's was our crew. Working with YG was always dope. When my big homie, rest in peace, he just passed away in 2020, Byron Diaz, brought YG through. When I first heard his music, it was like he had a couple joints up on MySpace, She a Model. When I first heard it, I ain't gonna lie, I thought it was like lazy and just not it, that whole sound. I just couldn't, like I said, I was loving y'all's type of music, you know? And when I first heard it, I didn't get it at first, but he was like, nah, I'm telling you, this is it. This is the city. So we started working. Probably the second song we did was Tooted and Booted. And that's what changed my life and also what changed my views on the way I intake music. Because it's like, you can't be so one track all the time. It's like other things work, you know? And that's probably why I've done all these different types of songs throughout my career and work with all these different types of people.
Yeah, he was a visionary with that one.
Yeah.
While I was doing my research for you, I asked Alexa to play songs by Dolla ign. And every time a song kept coming on, I had to like Shazam it, be like, this ain't Dolla ign. And it was like so much random people like pop, rock, like, literally everything. And also, how quickly did your life change after having a breakout hit like Tooted and Booted?
It still didn't change like that after Tooted and Booted. I would say after Or Nah,
Or not.
like the Beach House EP, after I had that, then it started like, I'm starting to see money and, you know, able to get a house and all that kind of good stuff.
Speaking of houses, a classic house in this business is that Silver Lake house that Sarah creative partners were working out of. And I know you started working with them early. Jared was managing them. I was working with them. We both on that album together, Hollywood Story. Sarah as a collective, Shafiq, Omas, Taz, everybody was around. Such a brilliant collective. And your record on the Free TC, the finale record, with PJ and Sarah, such a beautiful record.
Appreciate
Thundercat was around at that time.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that time in your life.
That was also one of the major steps. Right when we came back from, me and Kory came back from that Brownsville spot that we were talking about, we linked with Taz. My homie Kors, I remember he told me about him first. We started working, and that's probably the first actual, like, real record that came out that ever had me on it as an artist. So, you know, shout out to them. It was definitely also a connector of me, Thundercat, Anderson .Paak, Badu, Kanye. They took me on that one tour, Lupe Fiasco. Shit, we met so many different people through that house.
Right. No, it was a beautiful space, beautiful people. You keep mentioning Kory. You and Kory had the group together, right?
Yeah,
Ty Kory.
Yep.
And you have Raw Bangin, Volume 1 and Volume 2.
Yep.
Did that get people to pay more attention to you?
I mean, that was like a period, you know, of, you know, the steps on up. Shit, that was the first one, really, to me. Like, we went crazy on those two projects, and that's when we met Timberlake and will.i.am, and they supported us and got us, you know, different features from different people, and it didn't end up working out. And then that's when I met YG. And
You went on tour with Timberlake, right?
yeah, I didn't go on tour with him. I just like went to a couple of the shows in London and shit like that.
What was that like?
It was crazy. That was probably the first time I got to see a production and how that shit works, like from a big level, you know? Not to say that the Ye shit wasn't big or like just Justin at that time was like...
Huge.
Yeah.
You ended up signing with Taylor Gang, working closely with Wiz Khalifa. On this record, Irie, I noticed that early in your career, you were like, I only smoke Swishers. Then you get with Wiz, you're like, we own these papers now.
Yeah.
What changed?
I would say that was Parker, my longtime roommate, one of my best friends, my brother from another. He started the paper shit on my side.
Paper gang.
At the Raws. And finally they got me, and then by the time they got me, that's when I linked up with Wiz, and it was perfect because he was also on Swishers when I first met him.
I love that era of Wiz Khalifa music, that the rolling of the paper becomes cultural currency.
Yeah.
It's like, we only fuck with this type of women, we only pop this kind of bottle, and we only smoke papers.
Yeah.
It became like a secret society, all we ask is trust.
Yes, sir.
Type
yes,
of situation.
Sir.
Yeah,
Shout
I
out
watched
to
that
Wiz,
YouTube
man.
video.
Shout out to all the
It's a
homies.
What YouTube video?
It was a video that Wiz did, and he was like a paper rolling tutorial. But
Oh, okay, I missed that.
yeah, I just stick with the cones or Dutch. Cause
I'm from the Redman how to roll a blunt era. Shout out to Pete Rock.
Yeah.
So you come with this record, Paranoid, with B.O.B. Shout out to B.O.B. It's my brother. I didn't realize until recently that that's really inspired by Robin S. Show Me Love. I didn't make that connection. I didn't really make that connection till Beyonce dropped Break My Soul, which is also inspired by that Robin S. record. But that record is so important in dance music. And you're a dance music fan. You're a Chicago house fan, right?
Yeah,
all
for
that.
sure.
Where did your love for house music start?
My love for house music probably started in middle school. Growing up in LA, we always had 92.3. Now it's like the real 92.3. Back then it was 92.3, the beat. And then there was Power 106. 92.3 has always been, well, since a kid, it was like R&B and hip hop. Power 106 was like hip hop and house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's probably where I picked it up. Like
92.3 used to play my records. my career started with like Quick and Snoop had shows at the time when the Blast dropped, and they both took to that high-tech sound.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's a part of my story too. And you're working with Mustard and D.R.U.G. Can you tell us how that production collective came together? Our rest in peace to G Casso.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, because there's so many talented people that came out of that, particularly Mustard.
Shout out to Mustard. Shout out to my brother Chords, who I brought up earlier. We were just working from kids, me and Chords, and more people that we found joined the crew. From Jacasso, rest in peace, to the homie James Cool, who I still work with today. We've been working on some new stuff. Nate 3D, Buddha. I don't want to leave nobody out.
There's a lot of them, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. No doubt. One of my favorite parts of your story is how much you make sure to keep TC, Big TC, in our thoughts, and our hearts and our prayers. And it's like the way that you deal with him is like he's here with us, which I feel like is hard for you, because I've also heard you talk about just someone having that long of an amount of time, it can feel like they gone. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's a very concerted effort for you to keep bringing his name. You named the whole album Free TC. Can you talk to us a little about the importance of the record Thank God that he did with YG? Because I feel like that's the first time people really understood, right?
Yeah. It's a very important record, and shout out to my brother YG for making that happen and for believing. And, I'm glad it got to happen like that. Shout out to D-Mal for always supporting us as well, and all the fans, of course. I feel like TC is one of the greatest artists ever. He just happens to be in this situation that we're still working on to this day.
He was arrested for murder, but y'all saying he didn't do it.
Yeah.
I used to be in the lunchroom banging on the tables and kicking my little rhymes. And so to see him and D-Lo in them videos banging on whatever they could bang on, and singing real songs about real situations is so powerful. Those videos are like magic.
Bruh.
Again, on Miracle, on your record, it's like a miracle. That song sounds like I'm listening to a miracle.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. For real. D-Lo, he's been out for a couple years now, and he done took it from banging on the tables and shit now to making real beats. He just sent me a picture the other day. He got the new MPC and all that. I'm like, that shit fire.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. Free TC. And shout out to Sugar Free, who also got a West Coast classic, who be banging on the tables. Sugar Free just turned in his pimp card and got married. I seen that on Instagram.
That, man. Congratulations.
What was it like working on Beach House 2 with Drama? And what is your relationship with Atlanta like? Shout out Atlanta.
Yeah, I love Atlanta. Free Young Thug, free Gunna. Drama, we working on something right now. And Beach House 2 was a movie. I did that shit at my apartment back in Hollywood, and it just flowed. I probably did that shit in like 3 weeks.
What made you want to name this series Beach House? Because 3 of them now, right?
Yeah, Beach House was like always a dream for me from the beginning, because when my parents used to be together, they would take us by this spot in Palos Verdes, which is like right here, like in Los Angeles, and they would just sit there on this lot, talk about the houses that they was gonna build and the life we was gonna have, and it was just one of those inspiring moments as a kid. So by the time I got, to making my albums and shit, I always had that moment, and that's just what I call my music.
Yeah, it's like who don't want a beach house?
Yeah.
That's where I'm gonna retire.
Malibu Barbie had a beach house. Everybody deserves a beach house.
Right.
Malibu Barbie?
Malibu Barbie, dog.
Speaking of Atlanta, I feel like your campaign album feels like a down south album to me. It feels like Ty down south.
Shit, I haven't heard it in a minute, but I know there's those moments. Right. Like when I made the song Campaign with Future, shout out to the bro. And,
that song in particular feels like
I made Campaign on my tour bus.
Wow.
Just took my laptop, my mic, my MP, a keyboard, and we went crazy.
Do you feel like mobile recording, mobile studios, having Pro Tools on a laptop, being able to record on a phone, how do you feel like that freed you as an artist? Not having to be in the studio where we're paying all this money for all these hours.
Yeah, I just like all the different styles of making music. I can't like do the same thing over and over again anyway. So I started off in the back of my grandmother's house, like recording. So I do like the alone time too. So it's kind of like that in the back of the bus where I just like shut the door, nobody come back here, or everybody come back here, you know?
Right.
So it was fun.
I've also heard you talk about the fact that you were more of a studio guy, more of a musician.
Yeah.
But then the success of the music, you weren't really in the clubs, and the success of the music brought you to the clubs.
Yeah, I always say introvert with an extrovert job and shit.
Okay.
Because I'm a alone type dude, but
Do you feel like you had to
I got acclimated to it.
Okay, you got acclimated to it. Do you feel like you had to like expand your personality?
For sure.
And tap into different parts of yourself?
Yeah, definitely tap into different parts and just, you know, through experience, I've learned how to make it work.
Right. Yeah, your music, you know, from Toot and Booted, like a lot of your, because I asked that because a lot of for your big hit records, a lot of the content is brash young men. We in the club, we popping bottles, we hollering at these women.
Good
this
job.
And that. And you like that, right?
These women.
These women. But then the lyrical content, by the time you get to Campaign and Free TC and other albums, you start to, and Beach House 3, you start to deal with the consequences of this lifestyle.
Yeah.
Was this a conscious choice, a deliberate choice, or it just naturally went like that?
I think it naturally went like that. Just talking about different situations that I may go through, that my homies may go through, that the homegirls may go through, and it comes out in the songs, you know?
Yeah, I gotta say,
and there's ups and downs to everything, so you gotta talk about it all.
You are probably the most creative person when it comes to singing about sex, I think. I have not heard, I was like, yo, he has so many different ways of singing about sex. It's like an endless supply.
So polite at times.
It's an endless supply. This guy got a song called Stripper Pole, where he's talking about his dick as a stripper pole. That shit is fucking a brilliant metaphor to me. I'm sorry.
All right, let's go back to the Earn Your Dicks content. You popularized the term zaddy. I know you didn't say it like that, but that's how they say it now. Yeah. Let's talk about that. And for once and for all, can we get your definition of the term?
Oh, zaddy is me. You know, there's a lot of other people that call themselves that.
But that's you.
It's me. You gotta let them do their thing, though. You know, but she always gonna come back to zaddy.
Ooh.
And I'm bingo. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. On the Free TC album, that was your first album with Atlantic, right? So that was your first album with a label. I feel like it's your most personal project. Would you agree with that?
I guess you could say that.
Solid with Babyface is such a crazy song.
That was always a dream.
That's a crazy
to
song.
Work with Babyface, like the greatest to ever touch R&B in my eyes, on a consistent level of just like incredible. So to be able to work with him was just like a dream that I always had. Same thing with you know, getting the homie Sarah and Thundercat on the album. Same thing as getting Jagged Edge. Yeah. That album was like one of those.
Shout out Jagged Edge.
You know, like everything that I always wanted, I'm about to make happen.
Yep, and I love the intentionality of it where you got, I think that's TC you got on the interlude where he's like, yo, the first song is going to be the LA song.
Yeah.
Then you got to take him global. That LA song is dope with Kendrick and James how you say James' name?
Fauntleroy.
Fauntleroy, right? And Brandy's on that song.
Yeah.
Sounded amazing. Brandy is a huge influence on you.
For sure.
Explain why for the uninitiated.
Brandy, first of all, they call her like the vocal Bible, right? I agree. I think that she does amazing things vocally, and I strive to be that great.
Brandy just recently had a seizure or something?
Yeah.
Is she okay?
She said she's okay, and she appreciates all the love from her fans.
I didn't hear about this.
Oh, you did?
Just a couple of days ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So shout out to Brandy. She's a hero. One of my favorite songs by you is No Justice. With Big TC, he says there can never be no justice when killing us is legal, which is a very, very, very true bar. You sing on that song about, is that you singing about police handcuffing your mama and your sister?
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me what that was.
Basically, this was at my grandmother's house back in the day. They used to just fuck with us all the time because my brother was into it in that area. So this is just one of the times, and then I spoke about it again.
I like that you spoke about the women in your life, because a lot of times in hip-hop, when we talk about police brutality, hip-hop is such a male-dominated thing that we talk about it from the perspective of the black man. And obviously, we are disproportionately put upon, but the things that happen to us don't just happen to us. They also happen to the women in our family, to our mothers and our sisters. So when I heard you singing about that, it made me think about Sandra Bland and more recently Pamela Turner, the woman who was, they said she had some mental illness, and the police officer who lived in her apartment complex stopped her. He said she had a suspected warrant. He ended up murdering her. His name is Officer De La Cruz, I think is his name. And he just got acquitted for that. And it was a terrible, terrible thing. But right after I heard the acquittal, I was listening to your song, and you were talking about the fact that it also happens to the women too. It doesn't just affect black men.
Yeah, man, that's fucking terrible, bro.
Yeah, it's too normal for us though.
Yeah,
it's normalized.
What can you tell me about working on the Hot Girl Summer song with Megan and Nicki?
Megan and her team sent it to me, and when I heard it, I loved it. I hopped on it, and we were about to drop the song. It was just gonna be me and her. And then I think the night before, Nicki did a verse and blessed us. So shout out to Nicki, of course. She's always blessing me. I love her. And shout out to Meg.
What do you want to say about those two women and their artistry?
I want to say that they're great. They do their thing and keep on going. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
So now I want to go back to Beach House for a second. Beach House 3. You could keep growing and growing as an artist. Famous is such a reflective record. Your growth is apparent on this record. And then there's this other record, Message in a Bottle. It's a very beautiful record. The lyrics are very real.
When you hear Talib Kweli say that your lyrics are good, man, I don't know if y'all feeling what I'm feeling, but that shit crazy.
I pay attention, man. Can you break down what was happening in your mind when you were writing the lyrics to Message in a Bottle?
I gotta see it again.
Okay.
That's not one of them songs I perform all the time, but...
Yeah, I feel like that too. I only memorize the ones that I'm going to use on stage.
Oh, I was on one.
Which lyric did you just read to make you be like, I was on one?
Just the first message in the bottle. Let me get a swallow, fill it in my cup. Section full of models, like, and we going up like it's a Tuesday. Drinking till I'm woozy. Know I'm about that action. It feel like a movie. You feel me? Oh, man. To me, it just brings me back to my life at the time, you know? I was on one.
Isn't that crazy how you can, the mind is so powerful that you have your third eye vision. You could close your eyes right now and go back to that time.
Yeah.
And as far as your mind is concerned, you're actually there at that time.
Yeah, I think that happens for me with all music, not even my own. Like, even when I bring up like shit like Reflection Eternal, like I could see my whole life at that time, and like me doing music and me knowing it's gotta be cool. Like the girls around me like it, the homies like it, but moms and my daughter's mom is like, yo, get a real job. Like, yo, we need you. Like, it was just a crazy time, but I stuck with that shit.
Is your daughter a teenager now?
She's 17, bro.
How has she changed your life and your writing?
She's put me, even like in my music, she's kind of like my A&R at times, where she'll tell me like, do a song with this person or do a song with this person. Like,
my kids do the same thing.
Yeah, and she's done it like to real pivotal points. Like,
did she do music as well?
No, she plays basketball. Yeah, she's killing it.
I heard she's nice with it too.
Yeah.
As a writer, you have not just written for yourself, you've written for other people. You've had huge hit records writing for other people, writing for icons. You wrote Loyal with Chris Brown and Post to Be with Omarion, 4 or 5 Seconds with Rihanna. How do you go about putting yourself into someone else's shoes? Or is that even the process of a song that you might write that somebody else might use from you?
Sometimes it's just songs that I already made for myself, and people will hear it and be like, let me get this song, and if I say yes, then, you know. You
are very, very, very good at collaborations, and I feel like that's part of your story, part of your success is the willingness to, okay, I feel like you link up with like-minded artists and just be talking in the studio and be like, okay, well, let's just do a project. Like, fuck doing a song. Let's do a whole project. Let's really lock in. Project with Jeremiah is such a great rhythm and blues project. Do you have any advice for people who maybe want to open up to more collaboration but feel shy?
For me, like on both of those that we named, the Division album and the Jeremiah album, it was like I'm in the studio with these guys and we're making songs and we both work so fast that, damn, there's 14 songs in 2 days.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So then it's like, after they're sitting for a while and niggas is hearing it weeks after weeks, it's like, wait a minute, like, we should drop this. Like, why are we just sitting on this?
Right.
Let's come up with a name. Let's come up with more songs maybe that'll make it all cohesive. And then we drop. And that happened both times. So my advice to people would be to let it be natural. You know? That's how the best music always comes from me. Just like...
Organic,
yeah.
Yeah. That Division album, I wasn't familiar with these guys. It's 1985 is the producer and the singer is...
Daniel.
I got familiar with that crew through your album.
Wow.
Cheers to the Best Memories. Don't Say a Word is such a crazy, gorgeous record. I really like when you lean into that classic R&B. It's like, it's really good. Your music to me doesn't feel like it's sampled. It feels like, for the most part, this is fresh creations. But this one record you got, I Believed It with Mac Miller, I don't know if that's a sample or not, but it feels like
it's
a
a sample, for sure.
I hear that. I feel like with your love for Dilla and what I do, I wanna hear you on more stuff like that. I wanna maybe even make music with you like that.
I would love to.
Yeah, man. You and Mac Miller he's such a romantic. He really is good at talking about the women's.
Yeah.
And he sounds so perfect on that record. How did you link up with Mac Miller? What's your relationship with Mac Miller like?
Mac was my boy, man. I think Wiz introduced us like way back in the day. And we just always stayed tight. Just had the times when we would just I'll go over his crib and we just smoke weed and kick it. And he'd play music, I'll play music we not even record. Just on some talking about life and comparing shit that we're listening to. And he loves all the dope shit. He'll have all the dope people coming through.
He worked with a lot of dope musicians.
Yeah,
like a lot of the overlap musicians we talked about.
Exactly.
I had a conversation with his mom recently.
Oh, wow.
Because he's actually going to be featuring on my next album with Madlib. He did a project with Madlib that he didn't get to finish because he passed away.
Wow.
But me and him, I actually worked with him early in his career, but me and him actually picked and rapped to the same Madlib beat.
Wow.
So I got access to that, and I'm just making it one song featuring us. But I had to speak to his moms to get her blessing for that. So I'm very excited about this. Rest in peace to Mac Miller. It's such a huge loss.
Yeah, man. Shit, that was probably the first time my daughter ever seen me cry, bro.
Yeah, that was a difficult one.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Malcolm.
All right. So, what do you think the difference is between bedroom R&B and club R&B? Wedding Cake is a song that shouts out the bedroom R&B acts. So, what's your opinion?
Bedroom R&B is something that's a little bit more smooth. Like club R&B is gonna be a little bit more
raunchy,
loose.
A little bit more grindy.
Yeah.
I feel like the new R&B, like pioneers, the new R&B vanguard, the crew that you're part of, really changed the game because, you know, growing up in New York City and hip hop, we used to make fun of R&B. They'd be like, oh, them niggas wear hard bottom shoes and, you know what I'm saying? Like they always begging. That's what you say. Oh, I know R&B niggas always begging. And your generation is not begging.
Yeah.
Y'all taking. You know what I'm saying? Y'all come in and be sometimes harder than the rapper niggas. Like these rap niggas ain't doing it like how we doing it in our section.
Tory Lanez.
Well, shit, man. I used to hear all this about the R&B dudes and I didn't want to be a part of it.
Right.
Because of that. But I had a voice. So I was like, you know what, let me just make my own shit. And finally, Drake came out at the same time. And that's when people started accepting, like, the vocal.
Singing niggas.
Just singing niggas.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right, but then you
So-
see the verses with, who was the verses that they just had? Mario versus Omarion.
Mario.
And these R&B niggas was trying to out-hard each other.
First of all,
I'm the most
watermelon,
hard
you can't be
R&B
hard eating a
I'm the
watermelon.
most hard R&B nigga.
But I have two things. Number one, my opinion is that, like I said, club R&B is definitely more raunchy, and like the other R&B makes you want to get married and make you want to walk down the aisle and look into someone all loving, like, oh, I love you so much. And that
Wedding
one makes
cake
you want to
R&B.
smash. Like, I'm trying to come right now. That's the difference for me. But I also, I'm a virgin. Let me say that again.
Cap.
Cap, you know. No one in here can prove that I'm not.
The microphone caught that. Kat.
Anywho, I know he did. Okay, so I also, before I get to the last question, I do have to tell you, my sister said that Universe is an amazing song.
Wow.
That's the song she played in her engagement
Wow.
video to her fiance. And she
you.
also said to ask you to perform it, and she said plain but serious. So, there, I did my
Wow.
job. Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful.
Thank
And
you.
shout out Kehlani.
Thank you guys. Thank you, sister. That means a lot. That song's very special to me. Myself and Kehlani did that while she was pregnant.
Oh.
She pulled up and shit. Yeah, man.
You work with some amazing artists. It speaks to how amazing you are as an artist.
Thanks, man.
That all these people pull up to collaborate with you, even when they pregnant.
Appreciate it.
Finally, what's next for Ty Dolla Sign?
Shit, just more greatness, man. Working with Talib Kweli on a song, a couple songs. Who knows? It might turn into a whole
Might be
little
a project.
thing. You
I know how you do. You do whole projects. I
You
know
know?
what it is.
More acting shit. Intergalactic just dropped
Yeah,
with me
on
and Kid
Netflix.
Cudi on Netflix. So go check that out.
Now, I haven't seen this video for Intergalactic, but I'm hearing great things about it.
Thanks,
It's a
man.
cartoon.
It's an animated video.
Yeah.
Right? I need to check this out.
It's sick. It came out crazy. And then I got my label now, Easy Money Records. My first artist, Leon Thomas, who I think is like one of the greatest artists I've ever heard. I think you guys would sound amazing too.
Okay, let's make it happen.
And shit, much more. My daughter's 17. She about to go to college.
And that's the most important, ain't it?
Yeah.
All from this music.
Yeah, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, the People's Party is proud to have Ty Dolla Sign in the place to be. Thank you so much.